Hello, everyone. My name is Tom Iavino, and I've been asked by Professor Jeb Rusko to speak about establishing your presence and personality on social media. I've been a public information officer for the past 31 years, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the tips for establishing your personality and presence when you're out there. Back when we first started doing this, one of the things that happened was we were creating the social media landscape when it had first arrived. Think about it, I started in 1991 and Twitter didn't exist until 2004. So what we're doing is we're going to be talking a little bit about what you need to do if you're planning on starting something like a nonprofit, if you're planning on starting something like a business or something like that, if you want to get your personality out there. So let's call these Tom's three tips. First of all, we want to claim the space. Regardless of whichever platform you decide to go with, you really want to pick a selected ID on all of them. You may not decide right now. You don't want to necessarily do Twitter or YouTube or Facebook. But however, you probably want to get that name just in case somebody might beat you to it. We've seen people do that in the past. When you're setting up your profile on social media, what you want to do is you want to be able to cross-promote between the sites and also add your website. So for instance, if you're on a Instagram site, what you can do is you can set up your information so you can go to the other sites as well, so Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, so people don't have to hunt you down and try to find out what's going on. Also, make sure you've got your website, some way for people to get in touch with you. That way you can kind of expand on what it is you're offering. You also want to use a common graphics or a color scheme. It's kind of a branding thing when you think about it. What you want to do is think about Coca-Cola. Everything is red and white. They use the brush script. Think about Ford. Think about General Motors. Think about Budweiser. Think about all these different brands that you see. They're using common graphics and color schemes. And then what you want to do after you've established yourself, the second thing is to become a regular. I know it's a chore sometimes, and as excited as you are might be to start things off. What you want to do is remember that if you set up your social media and it doesn't have a schedule, it doesn't have regular posts to keep people's interest, they're going to go somewhere else. That's just the way it is. So what you want to do is you can schedule your posting. It could be 2 times a day, 3 times a day. It could be 3 times a week. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure you're consistent. Most platforms now actually have a service where you can actually set up timing, scheduling for your posts. So if you're going to be gone for the weekend, you're going to be gone on a short vacation, you can actually put that information out there and schedule them to drop at a certain time. So this helps you, especially if you're trying to drop it, say on a weekend, you've got other plans. And then what you want to do is, another thing you want to think about is keep your posts visual. Your post should always have some sort of visual element to them. I know nobody wants to just read tweets or read posts. What they want to do typically is make sure they have some sort of graphic element. Infographics are great. Just keep in mind that many of your readers could have visual impairments, which can make it difficult. Make sure they're topical. That's something I know that I've fallen prey to a couple times. Back when I was working with the Department of Health in Manatee County, I put out a scheduled post to drop which said take a walk, but it turns out a hurricane was on the way and we were evacuating people, so I got called out on that one. Make sure your posts are all interactive. Make sure you connect people to a website. Make sure you connect people to a site where they can reserve tickets, where they can go to a store that you have set up at Amazon or whatever it is. Make sure that people can go and do this. Because every time you make contact with a user, you're really having an opportunity to have that communication. And that's one thing that social media provides that no other venue provides. It's that interactive back and forth. And when it comes to point 3, just remember, you have to know when and how to respond. Okay, let's get this right off the bat. Not everybody is going to like you. Okay, that's just what happens. I've worked in government. I know not everybody likes the government. And being in the Department of Health, which is where I work, we've had people who say it's great we have the shots for COVID, and then others who say, why are you doing this? So understand that people are not going to like it. If those people are trolls, just let them be. There's no need to engage with trolls who are just there to try to stir up trouble. Just let them be. Don't recognize it. Companies like Disney have people who don't like what happens. So just make sure that you're aware of what's out there, because that's important. If your users have legitimate complaints, however, it's a good thing to do to recognize them and answer them, and also let them know what you're going to do to improve the situation. That's important. It's not just enough to hear that they've got a problem, but it's also important to hear that you will do something to help them out. For those who do like you, thank them. Thank you. Two of the best words in the English language. Make sure that you can use that word when somebody comes in to talk to you about what's happening, and they like it. So make sure you get it out there. Make sure you also encourage them to talk to their friends, talk to their relatives, talk to their neighbors. If it's something that you're running a site for a nonprofit, or if you're running a business, or you're running some sort of service, by all means, make sure that they talk to their friends, encourage them. And also remember, you can also reward them. If you're in a situation where you can give somebody a 10% off coupon if you're running a business, make sure that you do that. Make sure you let people know how they can get that, especially if they've given you really good comments. Those are the big 3 tips, but there's one other bonus one, which is to be yourself. I know that that's said a lot of times, but the reality is people want to be able to engage with another human being. And when you're out there and you're talking to your community, the people you've built your following, make sure that you talk to them in your simple and honest way. People just love the authentic voice, and it's really important that you actually come through like that, because it's crucial when you make that connection with your audience. They'll appreciate it tremendously, and hey, they'll come back. Thank you again. And again, Professor Jamasco knows what she's talking about. We were students together when we were both going for our master's degrees. So by all means, listen to her. She's filled with great knowledge, and certainly help you as you move forward. Thank you very much. Take care.